This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? The garden is always filled with surprises, and that's where we're starting today. This hanging basket was in the greenhouse, and last fall was filled with this begonia called Santa Cruz Sunset. And you know, it got cold in there, no heat. And then since the spring, there's been no water put on it, and I just happened to look in there, and this was in there. It had sprouted up and actually flowered with no water, without anything. The first thing we're going to do is give this some water, some fertilizer, hang it up somewhere, and let it go for the rest of the season. But let's look at some more surprises. Well, earlier in the summer, we got some bulbs, 50% off. You know me and my bargains. What do you think, Max? Does it smell good? And I couldn't believe that it came up and actually bloomed. This is a lily called Stargazer that I just love. And there's one right next to it. It's ready to bloom too. Next year, this will be twice as tall, and so we're on the right track. One more surprise to see. Come on, Max. You know, they say phlox is a weed, but this just popped up out of a little container that's here that's holding a raspberry. And it's like one that we don't have anywhere else in the garden. It has beautiful white flowers with just a tinge of pink on the inside. Again, another wonderful surprise. Just shows you how resilient plants can be. All right, time to get to work. Well, here's something that might be a surprise to you, but it's not a surprise to me, so I worked in surprise. This is a green called Tatsoi, and I love it, and it loves cold weather. We're going to put it in this cold frame. When things do get cold, we'll just close this up for the winter, and it's an unheated greenhouse. It's going to keep us able to pick this all winter long. As I said, it loves cold weather. We'll get it started now. When things cool off, it's going to be happy. Very small seeds. We're just going to sprinkle them in here and cover them up, give them some water, and they're going to sprout, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this one, aren't we, Max? We're going to plant that, huh? We're going to plant that? All right. Can't wait to see this stuff sprout. Now we're going to plant for the birds. That's next. Well, you know from watching these videos that I love the birds, and I'm trying to plant all over the garden for birds, butterflies, and all sorts of wildlife. And I found this plant today at the nursery. This is a Viburnum, which is deer resistant. It makes these beautiful purplish blue berries, which the birds are going to love later on in the season. And I love the way the foliage looks. This one's called Chicago Luster. It kind of has a shine to the leaves. And so to plant it, all we're going to do is dig our planting hole as we did last week for the tree, about twice as big as the root ball. Put it in the ground, and we've got decent garden soil here for it, and then just let it go to town. We're right at the start of shrub and tree planting season, and fall is an important time for planting. So let's dig our planting hole and get this guy in the ground. Is that deep enough planting hole? All right, come on. All right. Max says it's deep enough, it's deep enough. In goes our shrub, then our backfill, then some water, and every year from now on, we're going to be helping the birds out by just planting a cool looking shrub. And good thing about being out here too, the deer don't like it. So while I was moving in the backfill, I found this and I was thinking, what is it? And I remembered it's the top of a sundial that I used to have out here 10 years ago. Now I just got to find the sundial. Well, here's a great garden surprise. These beautiful variegated irises for $4 a piece. I'll take that any day of the week. The great thing about a perennial like this iris, you know, the blooms are great, but all year long you're going to be looking at this foliage, and the fact that it's variegated, I just love the way it looks. I've got 2 planting holes here in the perfect spot, filled with compost. In they go. Remember, with irises, always want to keep that little tuber up out of the ground, just like that. Perfect. One more. We got one more job in the vegetable garden. I'm going to put some water on these, and I'll meet you there. I like it. I'm always talking about succession planting, and it goes for basil too. They were almost giving these away. I think they were $1 a piece. Had to have it. Love fresh basil. You know, some of my basil is going to seed. This isn't. I'm going to put it in the vegetable garden, let it go till frost. Now, let's finish up. You know, there is no better feeling than giving your produce away. There's only so many cucumbers you can eat. I'm sure one of these, or maybe 10 of them, are going to go home with Jasmine. Maybe we'll take them into the office. But you can help the hungry by giving some of your good garden produce away. This Sunday at Red Ripe and Roasted, which is the Tomato and Garlic Festival at Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. The event's free, but if you bring in a basket or a bag of produce, you get into the conservatory for free to see the summer flower show and the butterfly forest. All that information is online, along with my blog posts and other videos and lots of garden stories too. Until next week, I'm going to load up a nice package of produce for Jasmine, and then we're going to go inside, huh? We'll see you then.